Rescue 82, Engine 82, Tom 1, Tom 2, copy of 401B on Arroyo Grande in front of Green Valley High School. Rescue 82, Engine 82, Tom 1, Tom 2, 401B on Arroyo Grande in front of Green Valley High School. 2 vehicles involved, reports of 1 person ejected, flights on standby.
Car accident. The students that are involved. Over there, some more. Cars racing. You can hear it. It's pretty awful.
As first responders, the primary concern of arriving officers is that of the health and welfare of the vehicle occupants, as well as ensuring the scene remains safe for other arriving emergency personnel.
Accidents happen every day.
The fire department arrives with an engine company and a rescue company. Because of the severity of the accident, an additional truck company has also been called in for manpower. The fire department's primary responsibility is to secure the hazards on scene and conduct triage, sorting through the patients, determining who is most critically injured to who is least.
In this case, we have 1 confirmed fatality. Our duty here is to the living. The dead can wait. While questioning the occupants, officers also look for indications of alcohol or drug use. The common indicators like are bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred or mumbled speech, the odor of intoxicants on their breath and or person, open containers, and drug paraphernalia among the others.
The fire department has conducted their initial triage. Again, they have determined that 1 fatality, they have 1 critical patient, and 1 delayed patient. The critical patient will have to be removed from the vehicle so that they can gain access to the other patients and begin treatment.
After the rescue units arrive, police shift their attention to the criminal aspect of the scene. This initial investigation is critical in closing the case. This road is closed for several hours so officers can work safely in the scene as well as the fire department. While you as a driver may be inconvenienced by the road closure, traffic diversions, and the like, think about what it is costing the families of the people involved.
The fire department has determined that in order to gain access to all the patients and free them from the vehicle, they will have to use some of their hydraulic extrication tools. They'll begin to take the car apart like a can. The other victims also will begin to have medical treatment being started on them in the vehicle. They will receive life support care.
In this case, we have an accident that resulted in at least 1 fatality and also serious injuries to the other occupants. If there is a reason to believe there was a DUI involved, then it would result in felony prosecution due to the injuries involved. The results of the investigation can lead to charges of manslaughter or even murder. The additional officers arrive at the scene to assist in the investigation. Officers divide the work. 2 officers continue to interview the suspected DUI driver while the other 2 gather evidence at the scene. These officers you see before you are not just playing a part. They have responded to many fatal crashes over the years and have seen the results of DUI. The rescue workers and firemen you see have pulled dead and mangled bodies from cars. The fact that this is reality is not lost on them.
Due to the severity of the crash and the criticalness of the patients, the helicopter has also been called in to provide critical care transport to the local trauma center.
There's one
Not
body.
all hospitals in the Las Vegas Valley can take the critical trauma patient. The fire department on scene is working in what they call the golden hour. This is the time from the time that the injury occurs to the victim in the surgical suite being treated for their injuries. They must rapidly transport the patient to the nearest trauma center, which is over 30 minutes by ground.
The officers conducting the DUI interview will do several field sobriety tests. They include an eye test. This test cannot be practiced and is an accurate way to determine the blood or alcohol content of a person. Other tests that will be done in this series are balance and coordination tests. This allows the officers to determine how well the person can divide their attention on multiple tasks. Much like driving a vehicle requires a person to divide their attention on several things at once.
Once the fatality has been removed from the car, there will be no more attention from the fire department given to this individual. All attention will be focused at freeing the victims in the car and providing emergency medical care. As the helicopter lands, it lands with a crew of 3, a pilot, a flight nurse, and a flight medic. Their number one goal is for rapid transport. Once the patient is loaded into the helicopter, it will be a short 10-minute transport to the trauma center.
The officers gathering evidence also will make a diagram of the scene. Using this diagram, the accident can be recreated later in a courtroom to show a judge and jury how the crash occurred. It can assist officers in determining which direction the vehicles were going and at what speed. Reconstructing the accident from evidence obtained at the scene helps in determining what caused the collision, which driver was at fault, and what the speeds of the vehicles were at the time of the collision. Even if you are not the at-fault driver in an accident, but you are under the influence, you can be charged with the death or injuries caused by the accident.
As the fire department has gained access, their number one goal is to make sure that there is no spinal injuries on these patients. Patients will be placed in a collar and removed to a hard backboard, not to irritate any further injuries.
I hope she's not really drunk.
As the patient is moved from the car to the stretcher, paramedics are setting up with life support care. They'll begin to breathe for the patient if need be and to replace any bodily fluids with IV solutions.
At this time, the officers conducting the investigation with the driver have determined that the driver of one of the vehicles is under the influence of alcohol. They will escort the driver to the patrol unit, place him in handcuffs, conduct a search of their person, read the person Nevada implied consent, advise them of their rights per Miranda. What this means is that officers will be taking blood, breath, or urine to determine the alcohol content in their body. If the person refuses to comply with the testing procedure, blood will be taken by brute force. It may seem harsh, but I think the family of the dead person would think otherwise. Officers place the suspect in the patrol unit to be transported to the jail.
As the flight crew approaches, they'll get patient passed down from the fire department crew. All crew members will continue to work together as a team in an attempt to save this victim's life.